All right. Well, Matt, Asha, appreciate you guys jumping on. Excited to walk through your story, your transformation journey with us, and for folks to hear, what can really happen when you get the kind of help that you need. So let's start here. Let's start from the beginning because you guys have been in running this business for a while. You're not new at it. Kind of give us a little context for where you started prior to even us meeting or working with All True.
Absolutely. So we had actually started Mintun Media back in 2014. And at that time, I thought running a business was just me being a solopreneur, running everything, having contractors in the business. But really, it was just me doing most of the work. And quite honestly, we survived for quite some time running it that way. But over time, you start to realize that you're kind of hitting this glass ceiling because you can only go so far by yourself. There's only so many hours in a day. You can't really trust contractors to a degree where you can actually scale and grow with contractors. So fast forward, what, like 8 years later, it's now 20, no, actually 6 years later, it's now around 2020. And we're now talking about uh, scaling up and I was going through these emotional issues of like, man, I know there's more out there, but like,
Yeah.
how do I do it? And Asha, correct me if my dates are wrong, please. I'm not so good with the dates. But I knew there was so much more out there. I knew I wanted to help more people, but I was just at my limit. And just to give some clarity here, we're a web development company. We started as a web development company, so we would support, small to medium-sized online businesses, maintain their websites, build new websites, manage their membership sites. So we excelled with businesses that had online memberships. So we help them increase the number of members that would join, the number of members that would stay, and we would help them maintain their platform so that people would keep coming back and keep working with them. So it was really great. And then again, I hit that wall. Asha and I went to a seminar together, and that day she said, Matt, you need to invest in your business for the first time in your life ever. And so
Wow.
we
Yeah.
did. Yeah, we
This was
invested.
22. He had this conversation with himself and hitting that glass ceiling and feeling frustrated and stuck for 2 years before we did anything else. 2021, same thing. We ventured off and tried a different route of financial freedom, and that was not doing well for us. And so
Mm.
he kept having this conversation of like, I don't know what to do. Admittedly, we weren't in the best of the spot for our relationship either. So like there was a lot of issues taking place, and it was like kind of creating this big tornado of emotions, I think, with business and personal life and
Yeah.
finances. And so in 22 was when we saw the seminar, and that's when I looked at him. I said, "This is where we need to invest into you. We can't keep investing into other people to solve your problem of wanting to like grow bigger and be more impactful." And so we ended up spending $40,000, and it was a little hard because we were already financially struggling with other things, but it was one of those things that I knew that if we invested into him, it was a for sure thing versus investing into other people and what they promise. There's no sure thing with that person. You can't rely on other people. And being my husband, I
Yeah.
was like, well, I believe in you, so let's do this.
I applaud you guys for that. You hit on a few things. It took you guys some time to finally make the decision to just go forward and invest. I want to hit on a couple of those things. So first, what was the why did it take so long to get to that place where, you know, let's invest in you, let's invest in ourselves? What was the fear there? Because a lot of business owners, anyone who's successful in business knows at some point you invest in yourself. You're not just buying things, and you made that distinction, not just buying more programs or hiring more people. You've got to invest in developing yourself because your business can't outgrow you.
Mhm.
So what was the thing holding you back? And then what made you decide to overcome that and make the decision, all right, I got to invest in myself?
Man, there were multiple levels to it. In the beginning, we were, or not in the beginning, but around like 2020 or so, we were doing pretty well financially. Like we were making good money, at least as a solopreneur. We weren't really hurting financially. and we were enjoying the fruits of our loom. Like it was actually good in that regard, but I was still so cheap. I wasn't willing to invest
Mm.
into myself. I wanted the car. I wanted the material things that I could never get before, but I never really believed, I guess came down to belief. I didn't believe that I was worth spending any money on to take me further. And that's where Asha then came in and said, "No, you are worth it. We do need to invest in you." And I remember just being floored when she said that. I was like, "Dude, are you sure?" And it was, I mean, it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
We finally made that decision, but it did take a long time because I just didn't believe in myself enough, and I needed someone else to believe in me, I guess. I guess my clients believed in me, but uh, having the person that you love and that loves you believe in you was important. And I guess I never felt that before, which was great. Like Asha said, we were going through hard times. So there were elements there where it was like, great, I'm gonna work my ass off while you just get to be a stay-at-home mom. Like that definitely went through my head
Yeah.
every now and then. And then I would combat it and be like, no, 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 this is what you wanted. This is what you're working hard for, is so she can be a stay-at-home mom. Why are you getting affected by this? And so I would, we worked through that and whatnot, but it, oh, that threw me off for a second there. But then there came the time where Asha said that, and that was essentially her decision, or and correct me if I'm wrong here, Asha, but it felt like it was that moment where it was like, let's work together to build this together. And it was that transition where it was no longer me by myself doing this thing by myself. It was this thing that we were building together. And over time, that actually really built up our relationship and made it really strong. It still took time. I'd love Asha to reflect on that a little bit because she's better with that
Yeah, I
information.
want to highlight real quick, and before Arsha goes, that you just made a huge point. When I see, especially when you have a family-owned business, and we primarily work with family-owned businesses and the service base, like you guys are home services, and the the biggest strain in any marriage is always finance. Like outside of adultery and affairs or tragedy, it's always financial. So I love that you guys say that, because I run all true with our team, and then with my wife, who's our chief of operations. And ironically for you, Asha's the chief of operations. you know there's fellas out there watching that. There's something to be said for let your wife run some stuff because they tend to be better at it. But you guys coming together like that and doing this together, as opposed to Matt, you running it on your own. You partnered. I mean, if you're going to trust someone to partner in life, they may be a great person, even the best person to partner with in business. And that's what you guys have seen. So I think that's awesome. Just wanted to highlight that. And then you also mentioned the feeling of that held you back from investing in yourself was, am I worth it? I'm not sure I'm worth it. And it's this crazy thing for us as business owners. You, you get great results for your clients. You know that you're worth investing in for them to get results. But then when it comes to investing in your own business, there's always the tension there. And sometimes it takes someone who knows you, knows the best and the worst of you to say, no, you are worth it. And that's what Asha did for you. That's awesome. Asha, what's your insights on that from the other side?
Well, I really appreciate that you even talk about like, tragedy that hits the family. We did have a lot of tragedy. I feel like 2020 was a rough year for most people, but Matt lost his dad that year. And I feel like he actually was really confused on how to be a provider for his family while losing the provider of his family when he was growing up. And I think he was trying to figure out, like, how do I have the best of both worlds of like being the breadwinner and having all this money so we could have like a really good life, but without having to kill himself and keep taking on more client work or projects to make that income, which is why I think he got sidetracked easily with having the idea of like other financial opportunities for things and was like, okay, let's do that. If that's what you feel like makes the most sense, let's do this. But it wasn't to his fullest potential. And then that I think that's why listening to the seminar and listening to the couples talking about working together, I really appreciated that because we have worked in the past together, but I also feel like as a wife, I'm not sure if other wives have experienced this, but as a wife, you kind of you're there to do what is asked of you, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. You kind of just fill in where there's gaps and just pick up the pieces and then just keep going. Like that's kind of like your role. And it felt like I was always just there when it was more convenient of like, hey, I need you to do this. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. But it wasn't really a partnership. And I feel like that moment when we watched that seminar and I told him we need to invest into him, I felt like that was him actually listening to me, not as his wife or his stay-at-home wife that takes care of the kids. It was more of like, this is my business partner telling me like I need to do this. And
That's
then,
that's huge
yeah,
because anyone in business who has any level of real success, they built a real business, knows that you have to listen to your partners. And my marriage has taught me a lot about listening to partners and my team. That and there's a lot to be said there. You know, if you're going to run a business together, often and I'll say this as a man to other men listening, listen to your wife. Listen to the wisdom that comes from her because she knows you better than anyone else. She cares and loves you more than anyone else. You just might want to pause, and I know Matt would agree, pause and just shut up. And honey, what do you think? What's your thought on this? And so if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is when he stopped and listened, he created that space for you to show up. And Matt, you can confirm this if it yes or no. Did you realize that she had a lot more to bring than just being your wife? She had more to bring as a real partner, not just in or really in life and all the aspects of it.
Yeah, I mean, big time. I always saw that she had a lot to offer. So she might not even know this, but her spending that time at that seminar with me was was big unto itself because she showed up. I know what she's capable of. We've talked about other areas where uh she could really excel in the past, but then we never really ran with it. And it's so like this was that first time where it was like, oh my gosh, we're like watching this thing together, doing something bigger together, which just really opened me up in general to like, okay, so like she's serious. We're watching this together. She's commenting. She's invested, like not just financially invested like we were into things, but emotionally invested. And like we were having the conversations I'd always wanted to have, which were like these business conversations, these like bigger vision conversations versus me just by myself in my office having these
Right.
conversations with myself. It was like, oh man, somebody else is seeing it, but she's even seeing it further than I am and seeing something bigger than I am. And that was like, okay, I need to start listening. So it was just a really cool experience and it's really,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really great.
Hey, you know they say behind every powerful man is the powerful woman, and it's true. A powerful woman whispering in his ear, "Hey, do this."
Yeah.
That's awesome. I kind of want to shift gears a little bit to because we've gotten some context for the journey you guys have been on. It's been a long journey, like 14 years, and in that 14-year period, to bring us up to the phase where when I look at a transformation story, there's always three phases. There's the mess, what was wrong. There's the miracle, what shifted, what changed, what did you do that was a catalyst for the mission you're on now? And I want to highlight those three things: the mess, the miracle, the message. When you look at the 14 years, you guys were running for 14 years, but the business was kind of stuck. Like it had hit a ceiling and you just kept bumping up against that ceiling, never really breaking through. When we engaged in 2024, where were you guys at? What did what was the mess you were in? What did the situation look like?
There were a couple of messes that took
yeah.
us to that point. And I just want to clear this up because the first mess was me by myself hitting that ceiling. And then Asha came in and we said, okay, we need to hire employees. Well, we had quite a bit of money put aside from all of our hard efforts and some inheritance that we were like, let's just freaking move fast. You know, we thought naively that we could hire 20 people right off the bat and like we would just fly to 10 million. Like we would just it would just
Like just
happen.
fill the
Yeah.
seats and it will work.
Yeah, butts in the
Did
seats.
you guys actually hire 20 people or?
No.
No, we made it to 10
Okay.
and and that was including Asha and myself. And then we quickly realized there was a lot we didn't know. And this was the problem with some of the people we were following back then, which was, just kind of like just go fast, just do it. And I think that was the problem. It was like, okay, there's some other stuff here we need to figure out before we just
Right.
do it. And so we hired those 10 people. We realized they weren't a good fit. So then that was the mess. Like that was one of the next mess was like, man, like we did it, but we didn't. Like we were making more money, but it was
But
like there was a
not.
dark cloud over Mitten Media entirely. Like it was like these are not the right people. So then we like came together again. Like this is what's so great about Asha and I is we then come together and we're like, yeah, something's off. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And so then we figured that out together to like clean house and keep the right people, work out the wrong people. And then finally we're like we felt like we had something. We learned from our mistakes and now we understood how to hire people. Now we can actually scale these people, which was great.
Yeah.
So
There's
then
something to be said to you. I want to hide something real quick. You said that you were in a listening to following some other people, and there's a lot of people in business. Some of these gurus are like, just go fast, just as fast as you can. And here's what I see the contrast between a lot of the people saying just go as fast as you can, and then real business owners on the ground, family-owned businesses who built from nothing, even if it's, regardless of the industry, they'll say success loves speed, but they forget the other part, which is while success loves speed, speed loves stability. And if you don't have stable structure, you don't have stability in your culture, you don't have stability in your relationship, and whether it's your husband wife or you got your kids working in the business. A lot of clients we've worked with have kids working in the business. If that's not stable, the faster you go, the more things break down. So you guys saw that things are breaking down, the culture is funky. There's a dark gray cloud over the business. Let's cut out the people who are not contributing positively to the culture, and then that kind of stabilized things. Where were you guys at? Like, what was the biggest challenge and struggle you were having when we first really started to engage and come work alongside you guys?
yeah, it's perfect. So along the lines of the story, that was like a year before we met you, and then we scaled, or yeah, was it?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
people side. We got that fixed. The next mess where you came in was it was understanding what we had to offer and offering it in a way that allowed for us to grow appropriately in finances. I feel like we've always undercut ourselves. Like for some reason, we just keep capping ourselves at the kneecap. Like, no, we're only worth this much. So our belief lid was really low, and the confidence in selling something at a higher value, knowing what we bring to the table, we just didn't know how to present that. We didn't know how to have that conversation. Um,
Hmm.
we were on the fence of like introducing marketing. Do we not introduce marketing? Like that has always been the debate for Matt for years because he's come from such a well-rounded background that he's worked with so many different agencies and contractors that he's learned the good and the bad of working with agencies. And that was the one thing he's like, we can't be like this.
Yeah,
So it was really hard because starting as just web development, we knew what we had to offer for that side. But with web development, there's so many other things like to the digital side of running your business. Like there's a lot of other like tasks that should take place along with web development. And so that was where we were struggling when we started working with you was how do we offer this where it makes sense for somebody to say, everybody's like, I need marketing. Yes, you do, but you need a technical stack in place to support that marketing. You can't just turn it on and expect all this water flowing in and there's no bucket to catch it. Like you can't do that to your business. And
yeah,
so that was the one thing that we were struggling in the beginning where we were working on just confidence as leaders. But I think also you helping us figure out like how do we produce our offering in a way where it makes sense as like a no-brainer for anybody who's working with us.
yeah,
yeah. And you guys were strictly web development. I remember hearing you and asking the questions. Well, walk me through what you actually do. What results have you created? What does the process look like? And then realizing in the midst of that, you guys are really offering a much higher level, higher value service that is even beyond, and we're in the process of working on this now with you guys, is going up market to higher level, higher value clients who have a greater pain point that you solve, which is conversion rate optimization. Let's get your landing page, your website converting more. You've had some incredible results. I mean, doubling the conversion rate for a business that's already doing 1 million a month. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. So that's so having those challenges, I mean, that's key. You got to have an offering that makes sense to your market. You got to know who you're targeting. So we dialed that in, and then kind of walk through, what was the where are you guys at now? Like, what was the did we miss anything? I think we covered it. Did we miss
Well, I think
anything?
one of the big things you guys helped us with, I mean, there's two really big things that stood out that you might not even realize. Well, one of them I don't know that you realize, but you might. But one of them was you helped us identify our product ladder or our value ladder. And so we understood we were only offering like one thing, but just the difference was the amount of time we were investing, and we kept discounting ourselves to get the higher payout. So like, oh, spend more, it will be cheaper per hour, and we'll just give you more time. And that was our biggest problem, was just like continuously selling our benefit as literally the amount of time we're giving you. And so you really flipped our mind on that of giving and providing more value, which showed us, like, it made me step back and say, man, why do people stick around for us? Like, there's way cheaper development companies out there. Why do they stick around? And it's not for the development. You can hire anyone overseas and get development work, but it's our like love and appreciation and service, like level of communication and service, and how we just have everything managed internally that we can get through this high level amount of work. We don't inundate you with like technical jargon to make you feel stupid. Like, we
Right.
really make things make sense. And so you showed me that that's the value in what clients are really coming to us for. And so then you helped us build our value ladder, our different packages, the levels, what's included in those levels. And and then on top of that, you showed us how to sell better, and like way better. And just to build, like Asha said, you helped us build that belief lid that we could sell packages for 10K. It was hard for us selling packages at 5K a month when you came on. And then you came on, we built that value, or that belief lid, or worked on building up that belief lid, and we sold 5K packages. That became easy. Then you pushed us to do the 10K, and we're like, no one's gonna spend 10K a month on this. There's just no way. And then they did. And then the next belief lid, which I'm actually excited to tell you because you don't know this yet, was selling a 20K a month package. And this was like a month ago. And it's like, no, like, okay, I believe in us. Like, I think we can do this, but I don't really know. Like, behind the scenes, I'm like, I don't know. Well, we closed a 20K a month package, literally upgrading one of our clients from 10K to
Oh wow.
20K this month.
Awesome.
Signed it last week. And it was
Let's
just,
go.
it's amazing. It's just like that. The belief split is so high. Like, I know we offer a big value to these bigger businesses, and you showed us that. So now we're focusing our personas on not the smaller membership businesses that we were, that, basically built us up from the ground up from zero. Like, I still have a huge appreciation for those businesses because they helped us get to where we are today. But now I see that we can provide so much more benefit to the bigger businesses out there that are willing to pay for it.
Man, that's awesome. And I'm really proud of you guys because it's one thing to get the guidance, the direction, the coaching, the strategy. It's a whole other thing to receive it. And that's kind of a theme for you as the CEO. You're receiving that feedback from first your wife Asha, and then bringing her into the business, and then letting go because I mean, she really runs the day to day. So you're focused on the things that only you can do, and then receiving the coaching and feedback and guidance that I was giving you, and then that the team at Ultra was giving you. That's so many. We run into so many business owners who they ask for help, but they really want the solution. They don't want to put in the work to implement it, or they want to push back and, well, that doesn't make sense. And I remember telling you guys multiple times, okay, I'm going to tell you something. This may not make no sense, but just go with me on this. And then you see the results of it. And now you guys have taken that, you're really running with it. So it's not just, hey, do this, do that. I mean, and you tell me, would you guys agree? Because my goal is always with our team is to not tell you what to think or what to do, but teach you how to think bigger, how to think differently, so that you can, through different thinking, you can do differently and do better.
Yeah, I would say it's really like it's the how, but like the tools to do that, like the exercises, the the tasks that you guys would say like, hey, I want you guys to work on this for like the next week or so, see how this does. Um, I really think that has really been such a huge shift for us as business owners as well. I feel that when we have to have conversations when it comes to executive decisions, the confidence with Matt and myself of having that conversation and not doubting ourselves as well, we've never done this before. This is new. How do we deal with this? Like, who do we talk to about this? It's more of now, I feel like today we're making these decisions as business partners and we're talking through best case scenario, worst case scenario. What does this look like if we take a hit right now and we do this and make a sacrifice right now? What does this look like
Mhm.
for us in like in a quarter from now? How is this benefiting the team? And I feel like there's so much more confidence with how we have these conversations, even with you guys. But like behind the doors, it allows for us to just be better leaders for our team, and that's been a huge thing for us.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'd love to
Yeah.
expand on that because I saw a lot of huge growth in myself speaking with Kirk on your team. And he really, like, one of the things that Asha and I admittedly suck at is leadership, or we think we do, right? Like we have people following us, and that's like a, symbol of one level of a leader is they're following you not for the money and not because of the title, but because they believe in what you're doing. And we've had our team continuously tell us that they believe in what we're doing. But man, like I feel like as a business owner, we all hate, you know, dealing with people problems, letting people go, having the hard conversations, like
Oh no,
getting
I
them to
love
do
people problems.
getting them to do what is right. And even if it's a great employee, but helping them, like mentoring them to do even better. But if they're not doing so well, how do you help them do better? And like Kirk really helped myself. I can't put words in Asha's mouth, but he really helped me just own it and feel great about basically just gave me tools to use to understand how to have those conversations and that you don't have to necessarily tell them what to do. No, let me take that back. You have to more so tell them what to do versus asking them what to do. And so we role played together, and this was the greatest part. We role played what that looked like. And he's like, I know your problem right here. You're saying please. You're saying can you? And you're saying when you have time. And you're basically allowing them to control what's going on. And that was a big change. And I implemented that immediately and I saw changes in the whole team. Like they're getting stuff done, they're doing things quicker. And I thought they would be offended by this or affected by it, and they were actually driven by it, which was really cool. So that growth by itself, and I know there's so much more growth to come, which is why I'm really excited to work with you guys. But just that alone, those little tools that I have in my tool belt that I can pull out, like you just see it, you can experience it. And it's just
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely. I again proud of you guys for implementing that, and it's always amazing to see the transformation of how you're thinking differently. You're thinking higher level, not just people talk about thinking bigger, just go 100x it. It's about thinking, it's about better. It's usually not bigger, it's better. And better gets you to bigger. And I like to put it this way, small adjustments affect big changes. It's usually this small tweak and this small tweak, and you consistently are making small changes in your business. But it's that, what is your talk track? What is the way you're phrasing something in leadership, and how are you having that conversation? That's I love that. It's awesome.
It's funny because it's kind of the same thing in CRO. Small
Yeah,
little
it's little
tweaks.
tweak. Yeah, don't redesign the landing page. Let's just tweak one thing.
Oh
Let's swap
yeah.
out a word. Let's change the color of the button.
Yeah,
Oh, you'd be
awesome.
surprised what works. It's wild.
So I mean, so you guys were you were hitting a cap. That's you were struggling with people problems. How do I lead better? Had to cut half the team. I mean, you had some inheritance, and you kind of, in an effort to really grow fast, kind of burned through that and ended up in a place
Oh yeah.
where It's like, I mean, you guys weren't even paying yourselves. I
No.
mean, you were
Right.
living off of that and then putting it into the business, and you were really committed to investing. So then that's all gone. And we start working together, make these changes. A lot of great things are happening. You guys are really putting in the work and just and trusting the guidance we're giving you, which and it's gonna be a lot of stuff that sounds unfamiliar, but you guys you leaned into it. You had the I'll put it this way, you had the courage to step into the unfamiliar, to stay uncomfortable. And literally, you guys were asking to be uncomfortable. Okay, what do we do next? Tell us what to do next.
Yeah.
Like there was
Yeah.
no resistance there. You just okay, we're all in. And it's one thing to say you're all in. It's another thing to pursue being uncomfortable and being stretched. And you guys really even having to let people go and having some really difficult conversations and some painful ones. You know, people that you guys were really trying to help. I think that says a lot. So since then, I mean, we worked with you all of last year,
Mhm.
and really the last 6 months have been really the most really diving in deep to all aspects of your business. And you guys have grown a lot. I mean, you could you in 2023, 20 probably 2020 through 2023, you had about the same revenue, but your
Mhm.
growth last year, if I have my numbers correct, you grew the your revenue by about 50 or 60% in 2024 compared to the previous year. And now you're on track to do probably even another 30-50% growth in 2025.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
here's the crazy part, AJ. I don't know if you definitely remember this because when we started at the beginning of last year, we said, AJ, we have till June to make this work.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were going out of business in June. Like that was our
Yeah.
runway. We knew what was going. We were ready. We prepared the team. They knew if, hey, we're gonna give you
That's
time,
you
we'll know.
prepared the team. That's a hard like, hey guys, that's like being on my Titanic. Hey, just
Yeah.
FYI, we're going down.
Well,
Yeah.
this was a big takeaway. Altogether, we've always been very transparent about where we're at, how much we're investing into the company, which shows how much we believe in ourselves and our team. And we've always been straightforward. Hey, when we are 2 months out from closing the doors, we're going to let you know. That way you have time to find a job. And if you guys wanted to find a job before that,
Now,
no hard feelings. Like
yeah.
we will give you the best referral ever. You guys have been great.
How,
And
how many
every
people when you said that? How many people left?
Nobody.
zero,
That
every
that's a reflection of the most important currency in business is relationship. And you guys obviously invested in that to have. I mean, it's your team reminds me of the scene in Titanic where they're going down, everyone's jumping ship. I mean, it's supposed to be women and children. You got the
Mhm.
guys pushing kids aside and like trying to jump in, and then you have the quartet, and he the main guy tells them, "Hey, I'll stay. You guys just go, and we're done, boys. It's been great knowing you." They're all about to die, but then he turns around and starts playing again. Then they all turn around and they start playing again until the ship goes down. Like that's a beautiful moment in that movie. But then you guys had that same kind of loyalty. So I mean, that's wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you even said it's the quartet. We actually had 4 employees at that
Oh,
point. We had the one virtual, Daniel, and then the three that were in office with us.
oh, so you
And
went from 20 from 10 and then cut down to 4.
yeah, yeah. Like the previous year, we were down to 2 employees in the office. No, we had one employee in the office. Like we were down to 2 developers. It was bad with the people side. Then
Mm.
23, like we were in debt. Like we sold my car. It was 100% paid off. We sold my car for as much as we possibly could to like just give us a little bit more cushion to pay our bills so we didn't have to
Oh
keep
wow.
taking away from like the money we could put into the company. We told
That's
them
tough. I know
it
that feeling.
is.
Had to sell a car to pay rent that was completely paid off. Yeah, been there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard because like there when you get that little slip saying I own this, like that was such a great feeling. And then
Yeah.
everything really was so backwards. And so we told them we're like, we're selling my car. Like our developers, they felt bad. They're like, are you really having to do that? And they were like, just let us know what we can do. And we were being 100% honest. Like, we're not telling you guys this to make you feel bad or anything. We're just telling you like this is where we stand. If like what Matt said, if you guys want to leave now, we totally understand. If you guys stick around, we're gonna work as hard as we possibly can. Matt and I are going to do everything we possibly can to turn this around. We'll do everything. We'll do sales, whatever it takes. And they're like, okay, we're right here with you. and we made sacrifices. We had to leave our office. We took down expenses. We tried to cut in areas where we knew it wouldn't allow for it to affect our output for our clients. Um, and then that shift happened like around summertime where it was like we were treading water financially. We
Mm.
were like, okay, it's not horrible. We're not bleeding dry at this point, but we're still not 100% out of the woods. And I feel like with working with you guys, knowing where we were trying to cut all the expenses where we could, try to shave down like any extra spending, flip things around, close more clients, that last 6 months of last year was a huge dramatic change because 23, we ended up having almost 700,000 in revenue. We were negative probably like around the 150, like negative 150 in net profit.
Wow.
We had no more money. Our loans had been stretched, our credit cards had been stretched. Last year, we ended the year over 1 million, and we ended up actually having a positive net income for the year. We got our loan paid off. Our credit cards are still a little bit too out of control for my taste because I do like better numbers, but they are getting more controlled. And I honestly, I mean, Matt and I have talked about it so many times. Like, we really appreciate you guys because you guys have been there to support us, like emotionally too. Like, it is a hard conversation to realize, like, when do we close the doors? Like, when
Yeah.
do we turn this off? And
Because
so
this
it's
is
just,
you're building and this is what I keep hearing from you guys, and I hope everyone who listens to this hears this. You guys weren't building just for profit. Like, you wanted to build a vision, and I know you got the kids at home, and this is really, it's a family business. Like, it's about more than just money. Because if it was just money, just take the inheritance and go invest it in and just let it grow on its own. I mean, you guys wanted to build something, which is a little crazy. I mean, I think all entrepreneurs, business owners are a little psychotic because
just a little.
it's like, let's go do something really hard that's gonna be a massive financial risk because it'll be great. It's the most backwards thing, but you guys stuck with it. You stuck it through, and some of those details, yeah, I didn't realize you sold your car and some of the other things. But I mean, you guys really, you put in the work, and I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have even really known because every call you showed up and you guys were positive, you were focused. What do we need to do? You were honest, but never did I see um, defeat. And I've worked with business owners with much bigger businesses, and they just get defeated, and they literally give up mentally, and then at that point it's over. And you guys never did that, and I think that goes a long way, and that's the mark of a true entrepreneur, business owner. You're going to make it work, but you're not going to sacrifice each other. I mean, your
Mhm.
marriage has gotten stronger. I've seen you guys spend time with the family. You took the kids to Disneyland, which was a goal, and completely stepped away from the business. Didn't have to worry
Yeah.
about it, And I mean, Disneyland is stressful enough as a parent. Anyone who's a parent knows that. So last year broke through 1 million, and talk about what's the mission now? What's the outlook for 2025? What are you most excited about? It's early February now. What are you guys most excited about in the business?
I
I'm
mean,
I'm excited to touch more lives through our clients' products. Like I want to find more clients, bring them in and just help more people. And we can do that through our development efforts, through our marketing efforts, and just helping clients that want to get their products or their services further out there, like help them help other people, which is what our mission is. Like I want to just help people. Like we literally won't work with, like I've killed deals over business owners that don't care about their people. Literally had one guy say, Matt, I just want to get more sales. I don't care about the people. I just want that first sale. And then I said, sorry, this kills this deal. I'm done. Like there's no way. So that's what
Wow.
I see. And then that's going to translate into more growth. Like we're shooting for 2 million this year. I love big goals. And I, what that's also going to do is allow us to hire more people, which is another mission of Asha's and mine is to help people live their best lives as well. If we can help them do that. And that's also the exciting part about what we're learning with you guys is by mentoring and coaching our team, they're able to reach their goals faster. And I mean, we have our quarterly meeting, and it's just bonkers how many how many goals are being hit every single quarter. And they're
That's all.
even just like they even say like we just did annual reviews, which were great too. You guys helped us through that process as well. And it was just bewildering. They were just saying like almost every single one was like, I have hit so many goals while working with you guys and your company. I've never worked for a company like this before that cares so much about where I'm going and where my goals are and me actually hitting my goals, that I'm actually hitting more goals. I have to actually work hard to figure out what my next goals are. And it's just like it's just so cool to experience that, because like I know I've never experienced that working for another company. So it's cool being that company that can provide that. So I just want to help more people, and either internally or through our clients' products.
I love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's
I
always
should
about the
have.
people. I definitely, I'm more so for the team always. I'm like, if we could get more work under our belts and more clients that allow for us to just excel for them, I'm excited to take care of our people. I think that's the most thing I always strive for. Like that's my number one all the time. It's just like, how do we take on more clients that are, it's more of a collaboration, it's a business relationship so that we can experience growing their business with them, but then also allowing for our team to make more. Like that's the one thing I think that most people always struggle with is finding a job that you actually enjoy, but also being paid not just what you're worth, but what you're really valued, like what you bring to the table and having that mutual respect with the company you work for. But that's definitely my number one is paying our people even more than what we can right now so that they have that financial freedom that they could just keep achieving their goals that they have.
Well, I heard it said, I forget who said it. But someone very notable in the business space. You don't build businesses, you build people, and your people build your business. And that's what I hear from you guys. And you've made the hard decisions. You push through. You stay committed. You did the work, and now you're on track to. I mean, you had your best year ever last year, which was 50-60% growth, and then you're on track to crush that this year with a lot more confidence than you had last year. Business is stabilized, and we're just gonna do bigger and better things. So I love you guys. I enjoy working with you. I'm glad you're part of our community, and who knows what we'll be talking about this time next year, and what you guys accomplish, and the team and the people. So I mean that's what it's all about: help people, get rich, give generously. It's ultimately the mission. So let me ask this question, and you guys can answer individually or together. What would you say to anyone who is considering working with us and they're on the fence? I mean, they have legitimate concerns, and we respect that. What would you, from your experience, what would you say to them?
Oh man, hands down, you got to do it. But only only do it. Actually, AJ, you said this earlier. Only do it if you're going to put in the work. There's no point in investing into this if you're not going to do the hard things. Like if you're going to tell someone else, no, I'm not going to do what you're recommending, then why are you paying them to tell you to do it? They know what, like you guys know what you're doing, and it's just proven nonstop in our own business. And you just got to put down the ego and do the hard work. And that's how Ash and I approach it all along. Like, I mean, we've always looked up to you, AJ, from the beginning. I was like, oh man. Like, first of all, I was like, oh my God, AJ's talking to us. And then, and now, I mean, like, we just run with it because you have the track record and your team has a track record. Like, who am I to say, like, you don't know my business? Like, that's just not my place. Like, I'm gonna do everything I can to prove your words, and we prove them every single time.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I would definitely agree with Matt. I would say the other thing too is like there's a lot of gurus out there. There's a lot of people who say they know how to do what we're trying to do. You guys have built a business from nothing. You guys have experienced that real struggle that anybody who is not at that 10 million, 20 million mark yet and hasn't ever hit that or hit that once and never seen that again, you guys have experienced what that's like to constantly have to make those 1% adjustments, but feel like icebergs in business. Like you guys have gone through that and it's it's a lot more reassuring hearing that versus anybody who's like, oh, I've made billions of dollars. And it's like, well, great. But like, how much money did you already have to put into that company? Like, there's a lot that goes behind that. And you guys are very honest and transparent with how you've experienced that and how you approach that. And I would also say that working with you guys, yes, you guys like this is a business relationship, but I also really feel like all three of or all four of you, I feel like are true friends because you guys give us that honest feedback and you guys give us the recommendations based off of what we need to hear as business owners, but as friends. And I really truly believe that every single one of you wants to see us succeed as a business because you see the value in us. And it's so incredible to have those people in your corner as a business owner because it's very lonely. And I feel supported always with you guys, knowing that we're going to be able to get through the tough times, knowing that we had that conversation with you guys. Plus, I mean, you and Heather are just fantastic to have dinner with and just catch up and just have cigars by the fireplace. So we also have you guys as friends now. Like you guys are stuck with us. So sorry.
Oh, we're not sorry. We are feel honored, and it's humbling to hear that feedback because that's our vision. There's a we too take that approach of loving people because one of the things I hold close to my heart and I remember often. Eventually, I'm going to have it as a plaque in my office. I heard my pastor say once, "When you love people, you will use money, but if you love money, you'll use people." And we love people. I'm a former pastor, love serving people, and this is where we get to serve people the best. And we say the hard things because there's a verse in the Bible that says, "Better are the wounds of a friend than the kisses of an enemy." In other words, your friends, if they really love you, they're going to tell you the hard stuff and tell you what you need to know, what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Because someone who just tells you what you want to hear and they flatter you, they don't actually care. They're not invested for the long haul. So we love you guys, appreciate you guys, and we're excited for what the rest of your holds. And who knows? For those watching this, go check out Mintun Media. We'll tag them below. You'll see in the description if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever else. Go to YouTube if you're on Instagram, watch the full interview, and then go follow them. And if you need a website, they built our website. So go check out alltruepartners.com. Mintun Media built our website, and it's fantastic, and it's only getting better. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Appreciate you as well. See ya.